Welcome back, marketers. We are back to finish our set of videos on pricing today. We are going to be talking about the legal, ethical aspects of pricing, as well as the psychological aspects of pricing, and how we can utilize the things that we know about psychology to help us do a better job at pricing products. So we already talked about in our previous videos, which I will link down below and up here, we are already talked about, number one, pricing objectives, the pricing process, and some of the major pricing strategies. Our second pricing video was on dynamic pricing and utilizing technology and the internet to be more effective in pricing. And now again, we are on to our third video, and this one is on psychological aspects and legal and ethical issues. All right, so let me just pull up our slides. Okay, so when we look at psychological issues in pricing, when we think about psychological issues in pricing, there are several things that are important to know. Number one, pricing, consumers have this idea, have expectations about what prices they consider to be acceptable for goods and services. So on one hand, consumers do have this expectation that price and quality are related. So a high priced item, if someone doesn't know the quality, would be assumed to be of higher quality. Now, that may also have there may also be some impact of our product fee in terms of brand. Okay, so if there's a strong kind of luxury brand with a high price, consumers will assume that that is a high quality product. Now, if we have a low price product, we will tend to assume that that is a low quality product. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad product, but it means that it's a lower quality product than, say, the other competitors' products. Okay. Now, depending on a consumer's expectations, if something is priced too high outside of the acceptable range or too low outside the acceptable range, consumers will either think too high, that it's a bad deal, or too low, it's not just low quality, but maybe it's inferior quality, okay? And our perceptions are influenced by, one, the price quality inferences that I already mentioned, where price is a cue for quality. It helps us infer or assume what the quality would be. But also, there are a lot of products that consumers have a set price or an idea of what the price should be, typically based on experience with buying the product. And so if I said, how much is a hoodie, or how much would a brand new video game coming out be, or how much would a 6-pack of beer be, right? Or how much would a energy drink cost? You would have some idea for most of those products about what a typical price would be for each one. For any of those, if you pick one of those and have it in your mind, if there was you saw a new one of those things, a new hoodie, let's say that your reference price, the thing that in your mind, that's how much it should be. Okay? Your reference price for a hoodie is $45. Okay. And you go to the store and you see a hoodie that's $100 or $120, right? You're probably going to think that's a bad deal. Even if it's a really high quality brand, you still are probably going to feel like that is so far outside of away from my internal reference price that it's a bad deal, right? Now, if you went to the store and there was a hoodie and it was $15, you would probably think, yeah, there's probably something wrong with it, right? Like it has a stain on it, or it's going to fall apart immediately, but there's definitely something wrong with it, right? So when we can understand what consumers' expectations are about are about the type of product that we're coming out with, that can help us make sure that we're setting our prices within an acceptable range, right? It doesn't have to be $45 for the hoodie, right? Maybe $50 or $60 is even acceptable, but $100 is outside the range, if that makes sense, right? Okay, so when we think about pricing strategies that also tie into this idea of different psychological phenomenon, one we have is this idea of odd even pricing. Okay. So this is the idea of $9.99. You see prices all over the place that end in 99. Okay, we all know that this says $10. Okay, but research shows over and over again that when people see this compared to something that would say $10, okay, people perceive this as less money, $9.99 as less, as less expensive, as a better deal. All right. And actually, we've used this for so long that consumers are now effectively conditioned to assume something is a better deal when it includes like 99 cents after it, whether or not it's a better deal or not. Okay. So that's odd even pricing. The next one is price lining. Okay, so this is the idea that you as a company may have a different product at different price points, usually going up in quality or up in features. So you're kind of getting a whole variety of different customers. And the last one is prestige pricing. So let me give you an example. Let me go back to price lining, for example. So if you think about Walt Disney World, right? This is like the dream vacation for every family in America, right? But it's expensive, okay? So several years back, Disney said, we want to actually make, we want to make it more affordable so that we can increase our sales. And one way we can do that is to build more affordable resorts and hotels, because we want people to actually stay on property. We can capture a whole bunch of additional sales in terms of food and different things if we can keep them on Disney property. So they built some additional resorts, and they were called the All-Star Resorts. Okay, this is a picture of a room from one of those resorts, and it looks like your standard hotel room. Okay, this is the least expensive of the price line, right? In a line, we're going up. Okay. Then we have what they call moderate resorts. And you can see a very obvious difference between the first one, which is our lowest price option, and our medium priced option. Okay. Major difference in decor and features that are available with this resort. Then we have the premium resorts. Okay. And so again, you can see now we have a much more luxurious look. So really more targeted actually towards couples and business people and other things that would be willing to pay a premium price. These are significantly more expensive. They also vary in terms of how far away they are from the Disney attractions, their parks. So the first ones, the All-Star Resorts, they are typically much further away. It takes longer to get to where they actually want to be. Your moderate price ones are going to be a little bit closer, and then your premium hotels are actually going to be like right adjacent to one of the parks. Okay, so as you move up the price line, right, you get more features. But basically, they're trying to target more target markets, more demographics, in order to have an option for all different types of families. So that's price lining. Okay. Let me go back to prestige pricing real quick. So prestige pricing is this idea that for really luxury brands like Rolex, Rolls-Royce, high-end fashion brands, increased prices, when you increase the price, you actually see increases in demand. And that is it is because these brands are considered so prestigious. Okay. So now let's consider some legal and ethical considerations. The first one is the idea of bait and switch. You've probably heard of bait and switch before. The idea here is that a company would say, advertise some really, really fantastic deal to get people in the store. But the company already knows that maybe they only have like 2 of those things. And they're going to have a whole bunch of people coming in trying to get the deal, and they can try to, upsell them or switch them to purchasing something similar, but not the low priced item they wanted. Okay. So this is a very unethical thing that stores have in the past done. It is generally not wise to do so. It is bad for your reputation. Now, I will say that Black Friday is sort of an anomaly here, because consumers know when they go to the store that there's only going to be a limited number of whatever the brand new cool toy is, or the new TV, or whatever that is. All right, so the consumers' expectations are different in that case. All right, the next one is called loss leader pricing. This is another very similar tactic, where we have low prices to get the customer into the store, and we make up, maybe we actually are losing money on that product, whatever that, sale product is that we're advertising a lot. And we're going to have them in stock, right? People are going to come in. We only had 2 of the cool computer that's super cheap. We're going to have a reasonable number in stock, but we just assume that we're going to make up the loss through the sale of other products. So one example of this would be, a lot of the like Office Depot, Staples, Office Max kind of companies, when it comes to back to school prices, they will advertise like penny items, okay? Like erasers are 1 cent, and Sharpies are a quarter, and scissors are a quarter, and pencils are a nickel or something. So for these specific sale items that are really, really discounted, they'll put like an asterisk. You have to buy $25 worth of products, have to have $25 in your cart in order to get the sale price. So basically they're ensuring that they're making up the loss through the sale of other products. And what they really find is that for a lot of like the people that they're targeting, which are going to be parents buying back to school supplies, the parents aren't going to come in and just get those handful of products, or maybe just get to $25. Most parents are going to come in, they feel like they're getting a good deal on the penny erasers, and they're going to end up buying all of the school supplies that they need, right? So both of these tactics can be considered unethical. Certainly bait and switch is much more unethical. Loss leader pricing is relatively common at certain stores. It is not illegal, but people get kind of a funny feeling about it. Is it ethical or not? I will leave that up to you. Okay, here's one other example. Publix has, I don't think they do this in South Carolina, but at some Publix, they have this like mystery item every week that's a penny. And you can get like 1 of these mystery items for a penny. And the idea is you bring people into the store to get this, whatever this penny item is, and that they're probably going to buy some other things as well, maybe their whole week's worth of groceries. So in general, the psychology of price, when we think of the psychology of price, most of the theories and frameworks are based on the idea that consumers are rational. In the real world, consumers are not rational. And so we do have to consider, from a firm perspective, from a company perspective, we do have to consider that. Even though there's all these ideas about pricing, we need to really look at how do consumers actually behave, not how do they theoretically behave based on, all consumers being rational. Okay. So there are a variety of other ethical, legal considerations, psychological considerations that come into pricing. We just highlighted a few of those today. And that is the end of our pricing videos. If you missed the first 2, the first one was on our pricing objectives and pricing process and some of the key strategies that companies use. The second one was on dynamic pricing and e-commerce. And our last one here that we just finished up was on the psychological and legal and ethical aspects of pricing. Okay, so all of the videos will be linked down below. They're also in a playlist for you, so you can put them all together. And you can also watch them all as a set for the marketing mix with the rest of the P's. Okay, so we'll be back next time, and the next set of videos that are going to come out will be on the P for place. Have a great one, everyone. Bye.